Hey Revs fans, we're back. Welcome to Coffee with the Coach, fueled by Dunkin. I'm Elizabeth Pehota alongside New England Revolution head coach Bruce Arena, sitting down together for the first time in 5 months at the Revolution Training Center. Coach, it's been a while. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. It's been a difficult year so far, but we're looking forward to getting back to Gillette Stadium.
As the team resumes training in Foxborough for the regular season following the MLS's back tournament, how have they reacclimated to the schedule in New England?
They've done well. They've been great. It's such an awkward year with everything, having, I think, close to a 4-month layoff and then starting a tournament, which would probably be your preseason, and now getting back into things. So we're starting to get back to as normal a life as you can have in a pandemic. So things have been good here. The facility's fantastic. The support by the crafts has been great. So we're real excited about finishing off the season, and hopefully we get in these 18 regular season games and position ourselves to be in the playoffs.
Coming to the Revolution Training Center every day does look very different than it did 5 months ago prior to COVID-19. How has the group adjusted to the safety protocols put into place that become a part of their daily routines?
They've done well. Every step of the way it's been challenging. I think we returned in April with phase 1, where it was individual training, then went to group and into full team training in June, and it was okay. The players responded well, and then we got to Orlando and we're in a bubble, which was challenging but an incredibly safe environment. The league did a fantastic job. The teams throughout the league were great, and how they followed the guidelines and everything else. And then we've come back here, and it's actually a little bit tougher, the everyday protocols for the players. So that'll be challenging. And then, of course, we need to go out in the community. So we're no longer in a bubble. So players have to be very responsible, but they have been. I think to date we've had, I don't even want to mention the number of tests we've had, but it's been, for the most part, every other day for a couple of months now, and we haven't had a positive test. So we're doing very well, and hopefully we can continue doing that, and we'll have a team ready to play on August 21st.
Let's take a look back at the time in the MLS's back tournament. The team went 1-1-2 in Orlando. What are your biggest takeaways from their performances?
Well, it's really hard to evaluate, given the fact that again, it was almost like a preseason, and the conditions we played in were really challenging. I think in group play we could have won 2 games. We should have won the DC United game. We had a chance, perhaps at the end of the Toronto game. They didn't call a penalty kick, which was a penalty kick. So we were a little bit unlucky there. In the game against Philadelphia in the round of 16, we didn't play well, and I don't think we deserved to win that game. So, but overall, it was good. It was challenging in that we started the season without Carlos. We got into Orlando and we started playing with Carlos, and everything was different. And then a game and a half, he's gone, and we were back to square one again. So it was a little bit challenging, and I'm not saying we're reinventing the wheel, but we've got to make some adjustments due to the loss of Carlos. So we've been working on that over the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned the loss of Carlos and re-aggravating his foot injury while in Orlando. He underwent a successful surgery last week. However, his anticipated recovery time is 3 to 5 months. How do you make those adjustments to fill that gap?
Well, that's a good question. I wish I had the answer. I don't think you can replace Carlos. He's a special player. He's been in the All-11 in the league, and we don't have a guy sitting on the bench that can play that role. And we're also not in position to acquire another player of Carlos's caliber. So it's going to be readjusting responsibilities. Other players need to step up.
As players look to step up, a bright spot for the Revs over the past 4 games in the MLS's back tournament is their defensive performance. With 2 shutouts in 4 games, how can you parlay the success defensively into the remainder of the regular season?
Well, we have to keep that going, and our biggest issue right now is scoring goals. Even the one goal we conceded against DC United, we gave away that goal for the most part. So really in group play, we were pretty good. And in the Philadelphia game, they were very much limited, and we made a mistake. And they jumped on it. So to their credit, our biggest issue is getting better in the attack and scoring goals. We don't want to depend on shutouts every game. We don't want to go the next 18 games only averaging 1 goal a game. We've got to get better in our attacking play, and it's something we've worked on. We've talked to the team about. We're capable of being a better attacking team.
What can this team implement tactically to find that finishing tough in training?
Well, just an understanding tactically of how we want to do things and getting players in better goal scoring positions. And then the technical part of finishing is, it's got to get done. If you look at the sport of basketball, you tend to think that you should be able to make a free throw. Teams practice free throws all the time. Still, you have players that shoot 60% from the free throw line, 50%, 80%, 90%. You don't know. All we can do is work on it. Every player we have that's on the field is capable of putting the ball in the back of the net. So we've just got to get it done in pressure situations.
A new face that joined the team last week is defensive midfielder Matt Polster. Both teammates Andrew Farrell and Kellen Rowe mentioned last week that even with a few days under his belt, his presence has already been felt vocally. How do you envision his role with this team as he integrates?
Well, he's going to help us in that number 6 position, the defensive midfield position, and it's an area where we've moved players around this year. I think Matt has obviously experience in our league, good experience abroad. Technically, he's very good. He's a little bit more athletic than we have had in that position, and also he's a better passer than we've had there. So I think he's going to be a good addition to our team.
Switching gears, MLS just announced their plans to resume the regular season. The Revs are going to be playing 6 games in 23 days. What are the implications of this condensed schedule?
The implications are that we better have a roster that has more than 11 players that can play. It's going to challenge depth. It's something that hasn't been done before, and having said that, I think Orlando was something that hasn't been done before. So, we adjusted to Orlando and did okay. We need to do a little bit better as we go back into the regular season. I think we're going to have to count on other players because we're playing basically every 3 or 4 days. The conditions will be difficult. There's going to be travel that's difficult. We're going to be traveling in the first 3 away games on game day, and that's never easy. And there can be problems along the way. You could be delayed in your travel, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be very challenging. So we have to have the right mentality, and we're also going to have the right depth. If we have any injuries, we're going to have some issues, and so we've got to have everyone ready to play.
With all of those challenges you mentioned of the condensed schedule, what are your expectations for this group?
Well, I think we can be better. I think we're capable of winning a number of games in these next 6 games. So those are our expectations. We expect to move up the ladder, position our team to be a playoff team.
All eyes are looking ahead to August 21st when the Revs host the Philadelphia Union. Coincidentally, that's the same opponent that you guys most recently played in the MLS's back tournament in the knockout round. What did this group learn that they can apply to this rematch?
Well, we have a scouting report for sure. We know what they're about. They know what we're about. So there's no secrets there. We need to play a little bit better. We were in position to come out of that game with a result and failed. And we know their team. They're a little bit different than most teams in the league. So we've gotten a taste of what they're about. So hopefully we can play a little bit better when they come into Gillette.
This match with Philadelphia at Gillette Stadium is the first game at Foxborough since the home opener in March. How much is the group looking forward to playing in their own market at their home venue?
Well, I'm sure they're excited about it. Again, it'll be another new situation that's been a part of the 2020 season. We're going to be playing in a big stadium with no fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how players react, but knowing our group, I think they're going to be fine. It's always nice to play at home, whether it's a full stadium, an empty stadium, what have you. So I think there's going to be an advantage for us, and hopefully we can make Gillette a difficult place for opponents to come into.
We're all looking forward to seeing the group play on August 21st. Thank you so much for watching Coffee with the Coach, fueled by Dunkin.